Hey,
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 y'all.
it's Linwood and Danae.
That's
Together
right.
we align for life.
Yep.
So just coming to you with another little thing while we was out here enjoying this beautiful sunshine.
Out here at the park.
Y'all got a little surprise this time. My wife bought little what's them thing props this time. So
Visuals.
yeah, so it's gonna be pretty neat.
It's gonna be interesting.
All right.
But there's a bumblebee. Oh my gosh.
That's
All right.
worried about you.
So the last time that we talked, we were talking about tools that we use in our marriage, and how sometimes if you're trying to cut down a tree with a butter knife, it just doesn't work. And you just gotta have the proper tools sometimes. And so in that we were talking.
Don't worry about it, baby. It's a bumblebee. It eat wood. It don't eat you. It'll eat me before it eats you. My name is Linwood. You are Danae. It's not gonna bother you.
Anyway,
Bye,
all right. So back to the program. We were talking about how sometimes in marriage and in relationships you can use your weapons instead of tools. And that was one of the questions I asked myself. I said, sometimes you have this arsenal of weapons that you're using instead of tools. Because I say, you should use tools when you're trying to build up your marriage. And I think of that scripture, a wise woman builds her house. So I'm like, okay,
if I'm woman tears it down
with her own hands. So I was like, okay, if I'm trying to build up my husband, if I'm trying to build up my marriage, am I actually using tools? Because sometimes I know that we can use, or I can use, weapons thinking that they're tools. And I'll try to explain that.
How so?
Yeah, I'm going to try to explain that a little bit. So, like, for instance, you have a little toolbox, and you're going to go in your toolbox to pull out a tool, like a hammer, or what is this thing called? A wrench? To build up your husband or to build up your marriage. But instead, you go to reach inside your toolbox and you pull this out. And your husband is like, what the heck?
Especially the way she's holding it right now.
But you think that it's a tool. You're like, but baby, this ain't a tool. So 3 tools or 3 weapons that you need to take out of your toolbox, because they're not tools. 3 weapons that you got to take out your toolbox. The first one is withholding.
Okay.
So I think sometimes as a wife, as women, one of the things that we do we're trying to communicate, we're trying to help, but we withhold. For instance, if you piss me off one day and I decide I ain't cooking for this, I ain't cooking for him today, he don't deserve it, or he ain't getting no pootie time tonight, I don't know who he think that's withholding.
And she know the food is more. She can get me more with that.
Don't say that. Anyway,
nah, just kidding.
So I'm going to withhold from him. I'm going to withhold love. I'm going to withhold serving him well. I'm going to withhold those things from him because I'm thinking it's going to help. I'm thinking it's going to control him enough to make him want to respond in the way I need him to respond, or do the things that I need him to do. But that is not a tool. That is not a tool. That's a weapon that you're using instead of a tool. Yeah,
you can't use your private parts against me as a tool. And often, that happens in relationships, and don't know when it started, but there's, history behind it, especially in abusive marriages and abusive relationships. I've heard women talk that way, you know what I mean, girl?
Or it's been handed down. Yeah, like it's been handed down from you. You know what your mama tell you, your grandmama tell you, girl, let me tell you what you do.
Yeah.
You don't give him none.
Yeah.
Give him about 3 days. Don't give him none. He'll come around.
Then what happens out there, you holding that and withholding all the stuff there, and then you get some sweet nothings outside of it, and that's not good.
Somebody else building them up.
You don't wounded them with your weapon, and then somebody else want to heal them.
That's right. Because remember, we should be using tools and not weapons.
Instead of weapons,
So another one is emasculating your man. Just castrating him.
Okay.
I'm not really good at castrating with my words a lot, but I know some women, man, they can tear a man up with just the words, the tone. I don't know. Tell me, babe.
That was one thing that you, I thought would never come out of your mouth one day. And that's when, I can't remember the whole thing, but I do remember the instance where you said, well, what if some other man said I was pretty and all the other stuff? And I was just like, wow, you know? And it just came out of left field. So to me, that was more of a, you know, a joke to say, man, I thought you would never say that. And that kind of emasculated or was confrontational or contempt or whatever you want to call it, that made me say, wow, you would go to that end to get some attention or to, you know, get something out of me. And that was very hurtful. That was hurtful. But one thing happened, I did not respond. I did not, you could tell the look on my face, but I did not say anything. And so that was a defense I threw up, not to say anything. And most of the times I want to, you know, have my guard down in our relationship. And that thing.
Because once you start using these weapons, of course somebody's guard is going to go up to try to defend themselves. But what
came out of that instance, though, is that because nothing came of it, no serious reaction, I believe there was the things you had to deal with, you know, and I just kind of, we had to deal with. I prayed, you know, and stuff like that. So well, maybe I could have said how nice she was looking, you know, because like you say, the things were, something was going on. I can't remember the exact thing.
It was like
but anyway, that
marriage.
was a situation.
But back to this weapon of emasculating, because you can use your words. Sometimes you can, you know, you can hit that man at the core of his deepest pain, because you know him intimate enough to know what his deepest pain is, and you can just hit that thing just the right way to make him, that hurt. Or sometimes just like talking to him like a kid, like, now you know you need to be da-da-da-da-da-da, or why you ain't do that?
You said that one time too. I got 3 kids. You don't remember that.
You hear, women do say that often sometimes, when they be like, I got 3 kids. I got my 2 kids and my husband.
No, you got 2 kids. I quickly said
really
something like that.
Wants to hear that. So that's definitely one of the weapons that sometimes we tend to use in exchange of a tool instead of a tool to try to.
So no withdrawing. No
emasculating. And then the other one is blaming. Playing the blame game. Well, it's your fault that such and such and such and such. Well, if you hadn't a such and such and such and such, well, you did such and such. Most of the times, you know, when you do something wrong, we all know when you do something wrong, or in due time, it'll come like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that I kind of messed up there. But nobody needs to constantly have their faults and blames pointed out all the time. You did this, and if you hadn't done this, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It just doesn't work. But sometimes we try to use that weapon as a tool and trying to think that, hey, well, if I just point out all his faults and point out what he did wrong today, it's gonna, you know, help the situation. But it doesn't.
No, because then we bring out our weapons, you know, and I think that's gonna be a different talk. But so the 3 you got, I heard that y'all use, and I do agree. You know, in a lot of the relationships I had previous to us, is that it was, you know, withdrawal. Trying to keep that, withholding and withdrawal. Yeah, withholding, there you go. Trying to emasculate me. Yeah, and what was the third one you said?
Blaming.
Yeah, blaming.
Pointing out all your faults and blaming.
Even when it wasn't my issue, it was, you know, I got what that dude did, what your dad did, what your uncle did, what all the bad things that ever happened to you or happened to a friend of yours or your mom or your aunt or whatever female, you know, that you came in contact with.
So you're saying like sometimes subconsciously we take that out.
Yeah. We take those weapons
what all
out.
Them other men did.
The defender of womanhood, you know. And, but men have to know, they have to be strong enough to let y'all unravel some of that stuff, you know, and de-arm yourself. You can't do it as a man. She has to lay down those weapons. And,
so I think today I just wanted to help women just become more aware of asking themselves that question. Wait a minute, am I using weapons instead of tools? Because I'm supposed to be building up my marriage. I'm supposed to be building up my husband. I'm supposed to be building up my home. And look inside your toolbox and make sure you have these in there and not these inside your toolbox. So Yeah, I think that's about all I got for y'all today. I hope it was helpful. So we're going to talk about the men next time. All right. So y'all remember, it's never pointless. We'll see y'all next time.
Line for life. Peace.